Okay. Now we're going to continue with the one-step equations. All right. And so I know we started 19, but we didn't get through it, so we're just going to start fresh. All right. Now, again, with 19, all right, we're going to do what? Subtract 3/2 from both sides. Subtract 3/2 from both sides. But again, remember, now, one of them is a mixed fraction and one of them is improper. Does everybody agree with that? To me, it's just easy because the numbers are small to just make this -4/3 minus 3/2. Does everybody agree with that? And again, let's take a look right here and see that these do what? Those cancel. Everybody happy with that explanation so far? All right. So those canceled. Say it.
No, I saw.
You have, okay. Now, in order to add or subtract fractions, we have to have a common denominator, right? So what's my common denominator with 3 and 2? 6. So now I really just need you to put a 6 here, and I'm going to multiply that by what? 2. So that should be a -8/6. Now I'm going to multiply the second equation by 4, right? And so that's going to be, I'm sorry, by 3, that's going to be what? -9/6. Is everybody okay with that? All right. Now, here's the hard part here, guys. Do you remember that they are both what? They are both negative, right? So now, if you owe 8 and you owe 9, then you owe what? You owe 17. So the answer here is -17/6. B is equal to. Yes.
I kind of did like a different way, and I got -2/5/6.
Is that the same thing? Yeah, it's the same thing. All right, remember we're trying to discuss with you. All right, the correct answer is the correct answer. Generally, the further along you get in math, the more advanced, the more we just leave it as an improper fraction. So if you leave it as -17/6, I'm fine with that. It's a multiple choice test anyway, so if they wanted -1 5/6, you would just go for that one. Everybody good on that?
Yes.
All right, but we can leave it as -17/6. Yes.
Wait, we have a test Thursday?
Well, I'm just talking about, we are going to have a little quiz on Thursday dealing with one-step equations. Right? I don't think so. But I'm saying on an exam. What?
Can you like do another one?
Man, I'm going to do a lot of them today.
You did. Oh.
All right, here we go. Now, over here, listen, on number 21, how do I undo subtraction?
Addition.
So I'm going to put a +13 and a +13. Now, the hard part, please, everybody take a look at this problem. Am I adding them or am I subtracting? Because look, it's all right, listen to me. It says to do plus, right? But this is also a what? A minus. So when you have a positive and a negative, you always are going to do what? Subtract. All right, so you have to subtract. Now, is it in the right order here? Is 14 bigger than 13? Yes. Now, negative-wise, I know some kids are confused about that, but that's why I try to tell kids, look specifically at just these numbers, right? We want to subtract them. So 14 would go on the top. Does everybody agree with that? Now, when I subtract, can I subtract 7/8 minus 0?
Yes.
7/8 minus 0 is 7/8. That is correct. However,
You have more to do.
isn't it negative is the question. Yes, right? -14 plus 13 is going to be negative. All right, it's going to be negative. Is everybody happy with that? Any questions?
No, sir.
Yes.
So the variables don't matter?
Oh, yeah, yes. Very good. Thank you, Will. I technically want you to say yes, x equals. I'm sorry. I was just, you're right. Everyone should have the variable. Did I not do that on the other one? Yeah, I did. Okay, I want to make sure. Yes, you want to capture the variable. All right? So now, in this problem right here, this one's really kind of silly. All right? But it's making us work hard, so let's go ahead and do that. All right? So now, I'm going to subtract 3 and 3/10. Subtract 3 and 3/10. Now, again, the reason why this one's a little annoying is because one is what? Improper. Is everybody good on that? All right. Now, I've always tried to tell kids, to me personally, making the number bigger is not what I like to do. All right, is everybody with me on that?
Yes,
So, does everybody see the common denominator would be 113? So I don't really feel like doing that multiplication now. Well, I'm going to, what I'm asking you, or what I'm telling you is, I'm going to change this to an improper fraction. I'm sorry, to a mixed fraction. So how many times does 130 go into 229? Once. Now, wouldn't it be nice if this was 230? Because then there would just be how many extra? 100, right? But instead of it being 230, it's what? 229. So that means when you subtract, instead of being 100, Max, it's going to be what? It's going to be 99. So this is 1 and 99 over 130. Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
All right. Now, the reason why that's important is because now we're going to subtract 3 and 3/10. Now, which one technically should go on the top, though?
3 and 3/10.
3 and 3/10 is supposed to go on top because that's actually larger. That's actually larger. So what I want you to do is I want you to come over here and say it's negative 3 and 3/10 plus 1 and 99 over 130. Now, why am I doing that? I'm doing that because am I going to add or subtract here? I'm definitely going to subtract. Is the answer going to be positive or negative? It is definitely going to be negative. Is everybody okay with this? All right. So now I know the common denominator is 130. Do you agree?
Yes.
So I got to multiply this fraction by 13. So this is going to be equal to negative 3 and 39 over 130 plus 1 and 99 over 130. Is everybody okay with that? All right. Does that make sense? All right, so let me get rid of this real quick. All right, so what I want to share with you now is this. Can I subtract 39 minus 99? No, so I have to what? I have to borrow. So I'm going to borrow 1 from the 3 and make it a 2. All right? Now, what am I supposed to do with these two? Add them together, right? So that becomes what? 169. And whoever said that was negative 2, thank you. That is correct. Negative 2. What?
Actually, never mind.
All right. Now we can subtract. Now, in this case, don't be confused. It's just, here's how I'd like for you to look at this. What's 16 minus 9? 7, right? And what's 9 minus 9?
0.
So it's 7, 70 over 130. And then what's 2 minus 1? 1. However, is it positive or negative?
Negative.
Negative.
Would you reduce?
Now what can I do to these two zeros?
Reduce.
Get rid of them. So my answer is negative 1
And 7 over 13.
and 7 over 13. All right, now that's hard, guys. That's hard. That's a lot. So come on. That's okay. Listen, what you're not understanding is it's good that you tried it on your own. Now what I need you to do is I need you to look up here. It's kind of frozen here for a minute. Hold on a second. Sorry about the technology issues. Please look up. Now, Will, sorry. Do you want me to backtrack a little bit, or you tell me where you want me to go to? Again, remember now, try not to look so much at your work now, but try to look at mine. All right? Do you see what I did at all? And I can go back as far as you want me to go because I think it's important. Start over.
No.
Girls.
I just didn't take off the zero.
So are you okay? All right. Let's continue on. All right. Let's continue on.
Oh, I know this one.
All right. Let's go down to number 25. Wow. 25. Listen now. Again, guys, that's what I'm saying. Don't start or stop because one's hard or not hard. Because they fluctuate. Easy, hard, medium. All right. So all I have to do here is add what to both sides? Add 1/4. So I add 1/4. When I do that, P is equal to. Now what's 1/4 plus 1/4?
1/2.
No, yes, you're right, but I want you to say 1/4 plus 1/4 is 2/4. Now everybody in here should be good enough to say, well, if I say 2/4, I might as well just say what? 1/2. So the final answer here is 5 1/2. The answer is 5 1/2. Everybody good? All right. Continue on. 26. All right. So now we're going to add 1 1/3. I'm going to add 1 1/3. Now I really don't feel like dividing 39 into 151. Does everybody see that? So I would rather just change 1 1/3 to what? 4/3. So let's do that. So now I have negative 151 over 39 plus 4/3. All right? So x is equal to. Now, the common denominator, does 3 go into 39? Yes. So I have to multiply it by what? 13. So now when I do this, now here's the hard part. Please stay with me. Negative 151 over 39 multiplying by 13 makes that what? 52 over 39. Now please look up because I want to try to show you something that I think is interesting. First of all, am I adding or am I subtracting? Definitely subtracting. Is the answer positive or negative? Okay, now please look up. Look up, look up, look up. Eyes up. All right, Julia, come on, look at me. Look up, please. I would want everybody here to just say that's obviously negative 99. And I don't know why people can't see that. So I'm trying to show you now. I'm really trying to make the numbers so you understand them better. Right? If I take 151 and I subtract 51, I'm at what? 100. But I need to subtract what? So I just subtract one more. That's how I know it's 99 quickly. Does everybody see that? I don't like to borrow. Is everybody with me?
Yes.
Julie, do you understand what I'm saying? I want you to be able to say, look at that and say, that's obviously 99. Do you agree with that? It's obviously 99. Will, can you look at that and say that obviously that's 99? Yes?
Oh, yeah.
Yes? All right, does anybody have any issues with that? What's your question?
Do you reduce it?
Yeah, we're going to get there. I'm not there yet. So now, is the answer positive or negative? Negative. So I'd want everybody to be able to say that's just negative 99 over what? And then, of course, it can be divided by what? 3. Beautiful. So I'm going to divide that by 3, divide that by 3. Negative 33 over what?
13.
Now, I'm good with that answer. Don't change it. Don't convert it. Just leave it like that. All right, I already said, when you get to advanced math, all right, when you get to advanced math, generally we work with improper fractions. All right, let's move on. More fun. All right, here we go. So on this type, we're going to add 6 1/2. Is everybody good with this? Add 6 1/2. Add 6 1/2. Come on, come on, come on.
Oh, I know what we can do.
Now, am I going to add or subtract these fractions?
Add.
We're going to subtract.
Oh yeah, subtract.
Right? Because one's positive, one's negative. So now I want to switch the order. 6 1/2 minus 5 7/8. All right? So now, all right? Caroline, what's the common denominator? Right, so I have to multiply the top by what? I mean, the first fraction by what? That's right. So 6 1/2 is the same as what?
4.
Let her answer. But don't forget the 6 4/8 minus 5 7/8. All right, Caroline, now what do I have to do? That's right. That's right. You're going to borrow from the 6 and make it a what? And then? Very nice, because we add those. So, that's right, 5/8. Now, do we know the answer is positive or negative? Shh. Think for yourself. Why do you think it's negative? Look right here. The easy way to tell is to say what's 6 minus 5. Is that positive or negative? That's why the answer is positive. Does everybody see that? That's why the answer is positive. All right. Everybody good? All right. Moving forward. All right. Now we're in better shape because it's easier to do what? Decimals than fractions. Everybody with me on this? All right. You just have to remember how to line things up. The last one was, 5/8. Oh, and I should have put R equals, sorry. I forgot that again. R equals 5/8. All right, so now we're on to the decimals. All right. So now remember, I'm still trying to isolate the variable, right? So if I get rid of 1.1, I have to do what? Subtract 1.1. Subtract 1.1. Now what happens to the 1.1s? They cross out. Very good. Now, what's 11.7 minus 1.1? 10.6. Good. 10.6 equals n, or n equals 10.6. Everybody happy with that? Everybody good? Yeah. No, you're trying to isolate the variable. So like look at number 33. What am I doing? I'm getting rid of this one right here. Do you agree with that? So how do I get rid of that? That's right. So you add 3.4. You add 3.4. Now you got to be real careful because it says add. Some people automatically just add. It is subtraction. Is the answer going to be positive or negative?
Negative.
Negative. Good. So B equals, so what's 9 minus 4? And 20 minus 3? Positive or negative? So B equals negative 17.5. How are things going on this, guys? Great review of decimals. Here we go. Caroline, go. Shh. Uh-huh. I didn't. I subtracted. But listen to me. Listen, that's a good question. Because a lot of times this is where I'm trying to correct people. It says what? Plus. But do I add them? Because one of them is also what? So a negative and a positive you always subtract. You with me? And if you notice on the previous one, there was a positive and a negative. All right? So let's do 35. All right? So what am I doing with 35? Julian, good for you.
So you're gonna write 7.7.
Is it adding or subtracting?
It's adding.
Look at this right here, Julian. What is
Oh,
it?
it's subtracting, my bad.
Right, because it is a what?
Say, plus sign.
That's right, it's a plus sign.
So then you cross out the.
Right, so now I'm going to put minus 7.7. Notice what I'm doing with my decimals, guys. What am I doing?
Lining them up.
Lining them up. All right, so now these cancel. So now the problem I have here is this is a positive and negative, so I'm going to do what? Add or subtract? I'm going to subtract. But does everybody see the problem I'm having? Because 7 is greater than what?
3.
So I have to put the 7 first. Now my question is the answer going to be positive or negative? Now how do I know that? Because 3 minus 7 is a what? Is a negative number. All right? So I put a negative down. Now watch. I'm going to put 7.7 and 3.23, and then I'm going to subtract. So what do I need to add in the missing space?
0.
A 0. So make sure you put a 0 here. Now, when I subtract, do I need to borrow? Yes. The 7 becomes a,
6.
and the 0 becomes a, and then 10 minus 3, 6 minus 2,
4.
7 minus 3, and don't forget the what? Decimal, and also don't forget the what? Negative. So n equals negative 4.47. Now again, please listen to me. This is an excellent review for fractions. Now we're reviewing decimals. All right, let's carry on. Number 37. Uh-oh, right off the bat, the double negative, change it to a positive. So I want everybody to come over here, and I want to make that this a positive. Everybody good with that? Now, how do I undo the positive? Subtract. So now I'm going to go minus 21.4 minus 21.4. Now, the next thing you ask yourself is, do you add or do you subtract? You definitely subtract. So which one has to go on top, Julia? 21 or 12? So you have to reorder it. But people have trouble with that. So when you reorder it, it's going to be 21.4 minus, and notice I put 12.0. Now, is the answer going to be positive or negative? Negative. Thank you. Good job, Julia. Now let's subtract. Can I go 4 minus 0? Yes, so I don't have to borrow. Now, you should also be able to tell me just 21 minus 12 is automatically what? 9. You shouldn't be borrowing. 21 minus 12 is what? 9, period. You don't borrow. All right? Just 9.4. So now my answer is negative 9.4. Yes?
How do you know what to subtract?
How do I know when to subtract?
So how do you know what to cross out? Like what's the
All right, so look right here. That's a pretty good question. The variable is what's being isolated. So I'm getting rid of the numbers that are next to the variable.
So
So I'm going to go to 39. Yes, sir, Julie.
I just want to
Well, no, let's look at 39 for a quick second. What number needs to be moved, Sebastian?
21.
Yeah, this one needs to be moved. You agree? But right now, it is what? It is negative. So how do I undo a negative? You add. So I would want you to put a plus 21.264 plus 21.264. Now you ask yourself, am I adding them or am I subtracting? I'm subtracting because one is positive and one is negative. The question is it set up correctly? Yes, because the 44 is on top. It's larger. Now, is the answer going to be positive or negative? Negative. So n is equal to negative. Yeah, there's no borrowing here. 2, 3.2. And if you wanted to put the 0, 0, go ahead. Is it necessary? No. Sebastian, what? Come on. Because this sign of the negative 21. If that's negative, you do the opposite. What's the opposite of negative? That's why. We'll do some more examples. Look at the next one. The next one has a problem. It's a double negative. So that you should just automatically write as a positive. Now, how do I undo a positive? with the negative. So you're going to go minus 15.1 minus 15.1. Now these guys cross out. The same side of the variable.
Oh, okay. So it's on the opposite side.
Now we're going to add or subtract these. Add or subtract, guys.
Oh, we're going to subtract.
Subtract is a sign positive or negative.
Negative.
It is negative. Now the problem with subtracting here is it's out of order. Everybody agree? So we should make it what? 15.1. And now when you subtract. Everybody should be able to look at that now and say that's just 0.6. Right? I don't want you doing all that work. Listen, guys, this is boring. Look up, please. Right? I'm not going to come over here and make this a 4, cross this out, and make it an 11. And then 11 minus 5 is 6. 4 minus 4 is 0. 1 minus, that's boring. Does everybody see that? I want you to be able to say, come on, 15.1 minus 14.6 is 0.6. You should be thinking about that. All right? Now let's take a look at 43. All right? So on 43, actually, guys, here's what I want to do. We're going to omit 43 for now. All right? It involves kind of like a two-step equation. All right? I know some of you probably know how to do it, but I don't want you to worry about it.
Oh, yeah.
All right? Omit means don't worry about it. You can just, no, you're not going to do this. I don't think you're going to do it. I wanted to get done with this whole worksheet. You hear me? So right now, I'm not sure if we're going to even do the two-step equations. We're just going to finish this up. Okay? You hear me? All right. So let's take a look at 45. So what do I have to do on 45? Julia, good.
You do minus 20.2.
Thank you so much. Minus 20.2 is good. So again, everybody's trying to do it before I do. Minus 20.2, minus 20.2. These guys cancel. Is it negative or positive? I didn't hear you. Why? If I said to you 27 minus 20, is that positive or negative? You see what I'm saying? So it should be B equals, what did you say it was?
7.5.
Yes, 7.5. It's definitely positive. All right? It's definitely positive. All right, I feel like we should get out pretty soon. So we know what time it is. 7 minutes. Just tell me what time. Don't tell him no. What time do we get out?
11:50.
Okay, good. It doesn't matter now. All right? So here's what your job is to do, guys. I need you to go back and we're going to work on some of the evens now for homework. All right? Start with 20 and go all the way down to 46. All right? 20 to 46. Yes, sir.
Like if you were like, is it okay for one from like 40 to 90?
What do you mean?
He did 40 through 90.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, no, that just means check them tomorrow, okay? All right. Have you been getting them right? Have you been checking your work? All right. Good job, guys. Good job.